what I'm talking about.
What's cracking, everybody? This is the Carter117, aka Hodor, ya boy, and welcome back to the Overwatch Custom Elite Controller Configuration Series. If you want to check out any other characters' configurations, please select one of the characters on the screen now to go to their separate video. Today, the video is going to be looking at a custom configuration for Lucio. I don't really use Lucio that much. I'd much rather use a Mercy if I'm going to support my team, but the only benefit for Lucio is that the speed boost really helps. But first, let's take a look at Lucio's abilities. Now, his ultimate is a sound barrier, so it creates a temporary shield for all your nearby allies. Then you have crossfade, which is LB, which basically it switches between the healing and a speed boost. Definitely when you're playing a domination type match, the speed boost gets your team to the point a lot faster, so sometimes it can give you a competitive advantage. RB is amp it up, so it basically increases the effect of the crossfade, which can sometimes come in handy, except for it has a really long cooldown. Left trigger is sound wave, which basically gives a short blast that can shoot you across the map or create distance between you and the enemy. And then the right trigger is the sonic amplifier, which is basically his gun. It's a short burst gun that has projectiles that travel quite slow. And then finally I have A, which is wall ride, so you can jump and ride on the walls. Sometimes it's pretty fun to do that. Now that we know Lucio's abilities, let's take a look at my in-game sensitivities. What you want to do is go to options, hit RB twice to controls, and hit A to get the drop down menu. Then you want to scroll down to Lucio. Now for Lucio, I have a really hard time playing him. His horizontal sensitivities I set to 11, and his vertical sensitivity I set to 12. Now, you guys are going to be like, geez, Carter, why the fuck would you want to slow him down that much? Well, honestly, his gun and the projectile shoot super fucking slow. So most of the time, you need to be shooting where the enemy's going to be, not so much where they are, unless you're staying completely still. And I don't know about you, I haven't seen that a whole lot in this game. So I slowed it down a little bit, so that way I could be a little bit more accurate and be able to lead my enemy a little bit more, so I can actually get some DPS on them. You know, you guys can fiddle with that configuration or not, whatever works for you guys, but I found slowing it down significantly really helped. I started at 15 and worked my way down. Now that we see the sensitivities, let's take a look at what my controller configuration is in the Xbox Accessories app. Like I've said in all my other videos, I'm going to say it again here. The main goal of mapping your buttons for a custom setup is to be able to maintain control of your character by not taking your fingers off the thumbsticks, but still also being able to use your abilities at the same time. So for the button mapping, I didn't really do a whole lot here. He's pretty good on his own even without changing anything, but what I did do is I put LB, which is the crossfade on the lower left hand paddle. I just find that my finger is so used to hitting that anyway, it's kind of one of those buttons I hit quite often, and it's a little bit easier for me to get because I have big hands than the LB button. And then I put A on the lower right hand paddle, so that way I can ride on walls a little bit easier and still maintain control of my right thumbstick. And then RB I put on the upper left paddle. And I'm sure you guys are like, since when do you put RB on the upper left paddle? Well, the thing is that his cooldown for that particular ability of boosting up the power of the LB button has a 12-second count. So I don't really use it as often as I would the LB button or even the A button to jump on the walls. So I found that putting that there made it a lot easier and a lot better to use. Now for the left stick. Like any FPS game, I like to set my left thumbstick to aggressive. And then what I also did is I moved the aggressiveness up to the 8th tick mark. That way I could be a little bit more agile, I can move left and right a little bit quicker without having to worry about the enemies doming me as much. Because Lucio does not have very much health. He's got about 200 health and you die very quickly, unfortunately. Now, with the right thumbstick, I set it to smooth. And then I took it down a tick mark to the 4th tick mark. So that way I'll have a little bit more of a smooth aiming capability. Since my sensitivities are so low, I definitely wanted to make it as accurate as possible because that's what I had the most trouble with playing with Lucio. So as you can see, the graph is a little bit more straight. It definitely helped me out. Alright, for the triggers, like in all the games, goes without saying, set it to 0 and 1 for both triggers and lock your triggers as well. That way you're getting a hair type trigger and you can spam the shit out of it and not have to worry about when's the button going to hit, when's it going to count as releasing. It just makes it a whole lot easier that way. And then for the vibration, like all the other FPS games I play, turn it off. There's no purpose really for it being on besides a tiny bit of feedback for when you're getting shot. So I turn the left and right triggers vibration completely off because having that on can really fuck with your aim. And then the left main and right main vibrations, I turn those down to half of a notch, so that way I get a tiny bit of feedback. So that way I know, hey, I'm getting shot. I need to move, or I need to move more. For me, when there's a lot of stuff happening on the screen, I definitely like to get a tiny bit of feedback in the controller. It's going to feel weird at first, especially if you play with vibration, but without it, it's going to make you a hell of a lot better in the long run. So if you need any help setting up these configurations, like actually how to do it, at the end of this video, I put in a screen that has a link to all of the other videos that show the basics of setting up the Elite controller, so that way you can go through that stuff. I didn't want to bore people here by doing 21 different videos of actually going through and setting up the configuration. I feel like showing you the configuration and then give you more resources is a little bit better move to go. But anyway, thanks for tuning into the video today. Please like and comment on the video and subscribe to my channel so that way you can stay in the loop with future videos, because I'll be releasing a lot more gameplays and custom configurations for multiple different games and characters in Overwatch. I appreciate you tuning in. I'm out.